Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel for our Saturday craft day with Kraftgali. Today's video, we are playing with this Mama Elephant Mini Bunny Agenda. I had to practice that a couple times. But it is this adorable set with all of these cute little bunnies. They're doing different things, they're busy, and it's sort of like a calendar planner type thing. But I'm going to turn it into a card project. And we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So here's the set. It comes with the little mini bunnies and the matching dies. And the shop also has this set in mini girl, mini boy, monkey, and there's another one. Dog and cat. So lots of things to choose from, but I thought it was so fun. So we are going to get started. Okay, I am stamping this out with some Versafine Clair Nocturne ink because I'm opting to use my Zigs, and that's a water-based or watercolor marker. And so this ink will be friendly to me and it will not bleed. And so we're going to get started. I'm not going to show you the coloring of all of the little bunnies, but I am going to show you how I kept them all gray but different shades. So we're just going to pick a color, do some shading, line out where I think the shadows are, and then I'm going to take this Zig marker here, which is basically like a blender pen. There's no color in it, and I'm using it as a way to blend out my Zig or real brush pens. My Zig or Arteza. So I'm using a combination between the Arteza real brush and the Zigs because they all do the same thing. So this blender pen, let me share about that. It's amazing. I love it. I think it's especially for small images like this, it's perfect. Because if you use a water brush, sometimes you can't control the amount of water that comes out. Now, if I'm coloring a very large image, I'm happy with that. It doesn't really matter and I can make it work. And this pen right here may not be ideal for huge images because you're going to have to use a lot of that. And it's a very small, fine tip. But I love it. I think it's a great little addition that Zig came out with. So I get my bunnies colored up. I didn't show you the coloring for the little pieces that they're holding, the presents or whatever the case is, because it's so tiny it's hard to see anyway. But I used a combination of very soft kind of pink pearl, that's not a color, pink, purple, and teal kind of colors. So I'm running these through my little mini die cutting machine, my Prizm that I have from Spellbinders. Love that little machine. And now I'm going to create my calendar. One thing I forgot to mention about the coloring was I was using Bristol Smooth cardstock. That's essential when you're using any of these real brush pens, in my opinion. It just makes life so much easier. But here I'm using watercolor cardstock. And so I'm taking out my T-square ruler and I am creating a calendar. Now my calendar here is going to be 4 weeks and 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5 days. And then I'm just going to lop off the ends that aren't even. So I go through and I make sure that everything is cut evenly, and then we could keep going with the project. So the next thing that we're going to do here is I'm going to take out this fine liner pen. Now this pen right here is a Micron, and I'm going to be doing watercoloring. So I want to make sure that that's not going to bleed. So it does say waterproof or something on the pen where it led me to believe I could use it. And it worked. So I'm going to go back through with my ruler here and just outline all of those lines so that I have a really dark line to let me know where I'm going to be coloring, essentially. And also I wanted to cover up the pencil. So once that's finished, now we are going to move into basically watercoloring these squares in a way that provides some sort of dimension or shading for them. I take my Arteza real brush pen and I'm going to line up the corner. All of these squares are going to be colored in the same direction. So how you see me do it here, I have the upper left corner of the square is going to be where I put the shading. And that's going to be the same for every single square, just to keep it symmetrical. For me. Also, this is just me practicing on how to add that watercolor without making it flat and all one color. Then I take my water brush here and I'm going to lightly touch the corners, which is the darkest part, and pull that color out into the bottom right. And that's going to give me this really pretty gradient, and I kept this in real time so that you can see what I'm doing here, with also allowing me to have that line of shading. I'm not going to show you the whole coloring. I'm going to show you, I think, one of each of the colors that I used, and then I just did a repeat on the whole calendar. But here you can see I'm using the purple. I believe it's on most of these squares, I used a 2-color combo. So just pick out what you think will work together, and I am going to do the exact same technique. So you can see I'm just kind of touching the darker shaded area and pulling that out a little bit, but I don't want it to be super dark in the lower right hand corner. So I'm going to actually, with the water brush, kind of wipe that off on the side so that it doesn't get completely saturated and just make it flat, if that makes any sense. So these are the colors that I'm using here, and I just continue to repeat. And when you do this, you want to kind of skip around on your boxes so that you're not touching a wet one right next to it. So there's the finished watercolored background, and there's where I'm going to put my little bunnies. They're so cute, and I think this is a super fun card. So I kind of worked my placement out to make it even, but I turned some of them a little bit wonky just to kind of give some interest. For this sentiment, I'm pulling out this Impression Obsessions sentiment here where it says tomorrow's another day. I thought that was super fitting for this little calendar planner card. And I'm going to do the classic white embossing on black cardstock because, like I've said before, that goes with everything. That combination there is, it's when in doubt, and if you just are stuck, go with a white embossed sentiment on black cardstock, and you're probably not going to go wrong. So I'm going to take out my trimmer, and we're just going to trim this down. I'm going to keep this very simple, but I am going to pop up my sentiment just so that it adds some fun to the top of the card, because everything else is laid down flat on my card panel. Okay, so I have my sentiment ready. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to put it in the center or just kind of where I'm interested in having this lie. And I feel like it covers the least of my bunnies if I put it right there in the center. I've also made it pretty small too, just to kind of take up a tiny bit of real estate. But everywhere else on the card, it probably would have covered too much of those bunnies. So I'm happy with that. I popped that up on some foam tape. I'm going to get my card base ready here. I have my score buddy, and I'm just going to score that at the 5.5 mark to make an A2 size card. And I'm just going to start assembly, essentially. So I take my card panel, put some art glitter glue. I like liquid adhesive when I'm putting together my cards because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. There is not much wiggle room with art glitter glue, just so you know, but it does give me something. And so I'm going to line that up, and I am just going to hold that down. Now, it is watercolor cardstock, so you want to make sure that you hold it down for a few seconds because not much warping, but a tiny bit. Pulling out this set here, this is one of my most favorite sets I go to all the time. It's very encouraging. I have this sentiment here that I'm going to put on the inside, and this is going to be, you got this. I think everybody can use a you got this card. I can use that on a daily basis. Just tell me I got this, that I can get up in the morning and put my pants on, and I'll be happy. So I'm going to be using my MISTI here for perfect placement. My Versafine Clair Nocturne, again, gives super crisp images. Just let it dry for a second before you close the card. And there is our finished card. This was so much fun to do. I had a lot of fun with this little set. I love that there were coordinating dies because I was able to use them atop a background that I created, which was a lot of fun. So go check out the rest of the line over there at the Kraftgali shop. There's tons of choices, super fun. And you can also head over to the Kraftgali YouTube channel because Princey's going to be playing with one of the other agenda sets, so you can get more inspiration for how to use these mini calendar type planner sets. So super fun. I will also list everything I used in the description box below. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss anything from us. And let's continue that conversation down in the comment section. We'll see you there. And thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.